Welcome back to 4-Wheel Build. Today we'll continue working on a 2016 Skoda Octavia RS, preparing the car to head out to the body shop. So let's get started working on the car and let's get to the video. In the last episode, when we removed the front bumper, one of the things I did not record because the camera stopped working was the removal of this front fog lamp and parking sensor wiring harness. So as you will see here, we're missing some plugs and a couple of others are broken. So these are two front fog light connectors and a parking sensor. So we have replacement fog lamp connectors, plus we have a new parking sensor connector. So let's cut these a little bit shorter and do a little bit of soldering to fix up our wiring harness to be ready to go back on the car. To do the soldering, we got this bad boy. Check that out, guys. So it's a standard soldering iron tip plus a hot air soldering capabilities. So it's a dual action, you could say, and it's quite a hefty piece of equipment. You can set your temperature for the hot air plus the soldering. So let's get it set up and I'll show you once it's ready and hooked up. Before I start putting all the wires together, put some heat shrink tube on there. And once we've got all three wires soldered up, now let's just get them heat shrinked. Okay, that should be it. So guys, there's the fruits of our labor. We have a parking sensor and two fog light connectors back on, and the whole piece is ready to go back onto the car. So finished the front wiring loom for the headlights and for the parking sensors. So now we've come back to the workshop where the car is, and we have a broken, it's an oil pressure sensor, and it's like, as you can see, it's broken. We've got a brand new part here to replace it with. But now what we've got to do is actually remove the wires or the pins to be able to place them in here. So how do you do that? You get something that's quite thin and you put it into these, I guess, slots on the side, and then you get a piece of wire, or actually I got a hairpin to actually push the pins out. So I'll go do that now and get it replaced with this item. Okay, once it's done, there's actually a blocking mechanism. It's like a slider that needs to be pushed in. And there you go. That's now pushed in. Super simple job. Okay. And our connector is on, and it's now nice and tight on there. The old one can go in the rubbish. As we said in the last episode, alarm LED indicator light has been cut off for some reason or another and needed to be replaced. So I've got a replacement wire that I need to solder on here, plus we've got the small LED light that will poke through the door, and there's also a small trim piece that goes from the top of the door. Okay, so let's maybe just temporarily get this hooked up and just make sure that everything works, and get this soldered on. Okay, the color coding, as you can see, differs between this wire I've got and this wire, so I'll just make sure that everything works. Now that we have this LED lamp or diode fixed up, we can get a door trim back on. So let me put you on another quick little time lapse and get this trim back onto the door and make it look original again. So we've got the trim back on. It was a little bit fiddly of all the cables and everything that needed to be, I guess, prepared to before I actually put the door trim on, for one person that is. But the LED light is working. Everything's back on now. It's looking good. The other side we'll obviously put back on once the door is fixed. So if you recall, when we were doing our filter changes, the fuel filter cover had one missing bolt and one that was stripped. So I got two new ones. So first of all, replace the one that's missing, and now remove the one that's stripped and replace that. Okay, that's done. Now our fuel filter cover is now securely tightened on. One of the things we did find in the boot of this car is the battery cover and the bracket actually hold the battery down, because currently it's loose. So let's get the battery out, install the cover and the bracket to make sure that the battery is nice and safe and secure. Sounds a lot of places in this car. There's a bit of trash in here. Okay, so now let's install the bracket. Get loosely set in there. Of course, it does have to fall into the air filter box. Okay. The magnetic tool comes in handy a lot of times. This should be interesting. One of the last things we have to do today is do a bit of fixing up on our bumper. Let me just show you what I mean exactly. Coming closer. So the front grille, behind it there's these tabs which are melted to hold them in place. But on both ends, the last tab here, they seem to be a little bit loose. Now, I don't believe they're supposed to be like this from the factory. So I think what we need to do is actually melt the plastic a little bit to make sure that these will be held in place. Okay, so we've melted the plastic. Just dabbed it with a screwdriver, and that seems to be holding on quite well. I'm just sort of thinking, should we build up a little bit more plastic on this to make sure that the hold is a little bit stronger. And apparently the best plastic, I've been told, to use is the plastic from zip ties. Melt some of it off. That's holding on real strong. So let that cool and we'll go do the other side now. Okay, so I think one of the issues we're going to go here is that the plastic tab is actually quite short, so I'll need to be holding this in place whilst I'm melting this plastic. This zip tie plastic is actually really strong, plus the benefit of it is it's actually flexible. Apparently this is the best plastic to use for plastic welding, I've been told. Let's let this cool now for a couple of minutes whilst we hold it in place. Unfortunately, it's not holding. It is not holding, guys. Okay. That did not do the trick. Okay, so let's see if we can figure something else out. Alright, so got a piece of plastic from my original bumper. The actual material will be the same. And maybe let's just use that. Well, I think that second attempt did the trick. So on second time I actually melted the piece of plastic I had melted that, and I melted the plastic, so fused them together, left a whole lot more material on there, and that's actually making a sturdy bond. So guys, I think That's our bumper fixed. So the last thing I think we really got to do now is to grab all the pieces, get prepared, because on Thursday this week the car will be picked up and taken off to the body shop. Let's ensure we've got all the bits and pieces that we need prepared and the car is ready to go off. Alright guys, we've got all our required parts packed. So we've got our headlights, both left and right. We've got all our air dams, bolts, nuts that are required for the fenders, left and right. All the sound deadening, any locks, hinges. There's the hood. There are two hood hinges right there. So we'll get that obviously taken away with the car. Then we've got obviously the front hood, which I'll take personally to the body shop, along with the front support, all the radiators, all the coolers, the rebar. So that's going to be taken by me. Plus, let me just move this out of the way. Plus there's a front fender. And I'll probably put that on the back seat, or I might put that on the back seat. We'll see how we go. But that's also going to be taken down. I might even take it myself. So that'll be the majority of the main parts. Plus the actual front bumper. All these parts, so the actual linings, any front fog lights, grills, wiring looms, the actual front xenon headlight washer, pipes, all the system for that is going to be installed later. We're not going to take that to the body shop right away. There's no point taking parts in there in case something gets lost, broken, or it's safer just lying around here. We've got the workshop cleaned up a tad. So now all we've got to do is wait till Thursday for the tow truck to come pick the car up and take it off to the body shop. I've also secured up all the hoses for the coolers, for the AC, just to make sure there's no crap that falls in there whilst the car is taken. Also zip tied any loose cables so they don't get caught, they don't get broken off. At this point in time, it would be nice just to have everything arrive safely and no additional work to be done. Whilst at the body shop, I'll probably get the guys in to come and replace the actual front windscreen. So that will get done. And hopefully within next couple of weeks, the car will be drivable once again. It will look like a car. So we'll throw in the front fender maybe on the rear seat. Other than that, the car is ready to be taken to the body shop and be worked on. Alright guys, so that's it for today's episode. Now we just gotta wait for the tow truck to pick up the car and take it to the body shop. I'll be going there and recording all the work that's being done. I'll assist and hopefully we'll get the Skoda Octavia RS on the road very, very, very soon. So we can take it for a first test drive. Thanks for watching, thanks for being with us. Please consider subscribing, leave a like, leave a comment, and we'll see you in the next episode. See you guys then.